Hi, this is Dr. Stephanie Wautier, and I'm the host of Conversations with a Chiropractor. This is not a health how-to, but rather a conversation with some amazing people I've had the pleasure of being with on my journey of life. Think of it more like Tuesdays with Maury, a fireside chat, or chicken soup for the soul. Grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and enjoy this conversation with a chiropractor. Welcome to the holiday edition of Conversations with a Chiropractor. I debated on giving my listeners some super great tips on how to manage the holidays healthfully, and then the other morning, I was struck by an overwhelming rush of memories. I was headed to a little town to pick up some cardamom bread. One of my patients was baking it for her church's craft show or holiday bazaar. And I took a wrong turn and I ended up going down the snow-packed alleyway with garages on the left and the right. And I was immediately brought back to my grandmother's alley. And a rush of memories came over me and I was moved to tears. I just thought about those who've passed and the traditions of my childhood. So that is what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Specifically, I'm going to talk a little bit about my Scandinavian heritage. And I wanted to give my listeners a little bit of a peek into the area that I live. And this is very nearby the area that I grew up. And we have a very, very strong Finnish and Swedish community here. I wonder exactly how did the Finnish come to this area? I know that there are many people who came here looking for a better life. So I found this amazing article. You can find it at folkstreams.net. And it talks a little bit about the distinctive feature of the Finnish folks in the Upper Peninsula. In the 1990 U.S. Census, there was 658,000, about 3/10 of the national population that were Finnish. In the UP, the corresponding figure was about 51,000 people, which accounts to 16% of the UP's population. So the Upper Peninsula has more than 50 times the proportion of Finnish Americans as the nation does. Finnish Americans in the UP are concentrated in the northern, central, and northwest counties, starting from Marquette County, westward along the southern shore of Lake Superior. As you move west, the proportion of Finnish Americans increases, so much so that Marquette County has 22% of Finnish Americans, Baraga County 34%, and Keweenaw County it increases to 49.9%. Now, interestingly enough, my mom was born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and has a strong not only Finnish but Swedish heritage. And as of 2020, Minnesota has the largest Swedish population in the United States. So now we fast forward to today, and I am trying to bring back some of those traditional Scandinavian recipes and traditions, and thus, at the beginning of my story, going to a small Lutheran church to get some beautiful homemade cardamom bread. Let's go down this little bit of lane. How does a spice that is prevalent in India come to Finland? How is it so prominent and prevalent that the Finns are using cardamom for baking? Well, about 1,000 years ago, Scandinavians were trading with the Vikings during the Byzantine Empire time, and that is how Scandinavians got to use cardamom as their spice. So that was one of the very traditional things that my grandmother, who's actually Swedish, would make, that cardamom bread. And then I got to thinking, how in the world does something that you eat bring back such a strong memory? And of course, there is scientific evidence and research that talks about your olfactory, which is your smell, or your gustatory, which is your taste. Those factors go straight to the limbic system of your brain, which is where those core memories are. And if you're very scientific, you might argue the details. But smell and taste is such a prominent part of our memories. Another thing that I was thinking about there are a few terms in the world now. One of them I'm going to spell. It's called hygge or hygge, Hygge. This is a Danish or Norwegian term that describes a cozy and contented mood evoked by comfort. So it is about taking time away from the daily rush to relax and enjoy life's quieter pleasures, either with people you care about or by yourself. I kind of love that. I'm like, okay, they're even saying take a little bit of quiet time for yourself. What does that look like for you this holiday season? How can you fill your own cup during the hustle and bustle of these holidays? I know that most of us have a mountainous to-do list, whether it's purchasing presents or what are we going to cook or what are we going to bake or who has time off and who has it when. And the holidays can be very overwhelming. I mean, I think it's sort of funny. I have these really sweet, lovely, beautiful memories of my childhood, but it isn't like we were getting all fabulous toys under the Christmas tree. We would get oranges in our stockings. I remember one Christmas thinking, did this toy come from the back of a cereal box? Did my mom write in? I mean, times were tight. Money was tight. And I think that just shows us that material things are not what give us happiness. Another term that I want to talk about, and I might be pronouncing it incorrectly, it's a Swedish term called fika or fika, and this means to have a coffee break with pastry. So I think both the word hygge or hygge and the word fika or fika sort of tell us a little bit about what I actually crave over the holidays. It's just that little bit of time to stop, rest, relax, enjoy, be with your loved ones, contemplate the quietness of the season, find whatever peace there may be in your own heart. And isn't it funny that this all started with the search for the perfect loaf of cardamom bread? Thank you for listening to this conversation with a chiropractor. I am wishing you the coziest holiday season. Thank you so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this podcast, would you please rate it, review it, like, or subscribe? You can find me on social media at wautierwellness.com, Dr. Stephanie Wautier on Instagram, or Wautier Wellness Chiropractic and Massage on Facebook. And I'm so curious where your next conversation will take you.